Hello everyone, I'm GafTheMaster974 back again doing another Destiny Prison of Elders solo guide. This time we're looking at the Machine Wrath level 34 arena. Let's get straight into it. So, not to be confused with the Wrath of the Machine raid that also exists in Destiny 1, but it's Machine Wrath today. This is my Sunbreaker subclass as I usually show you, and the weapons that I have on me, which is pretty much the same as all of the previous loadouts. Some weapons may be important later on, and that's it. So unfortunately this arena was one of the more pain in the ass arenas. I also showcased I got a ship. I think that's because I leveled up House of Judgment reputation, but yeah, this arena was a pain in the ass to do. It's mostly the later rounds, like round 4 and 5, which screwed me over the most, to be quite honest with you. I just need to turn the volume down on my end. It's hopefully doesn't affect the commentary. So, as we see, it's respawning restricted, so if we die, we wipe, and we have to do the entire round all over again. Maybe I should have mentioned that earlier, but anyway. We have Specialist, which means your special weapons do more damage. So, and it's Cabal as well. So I'm running this with Icebreaker. Icebreaker's as good of a weapon as it is a pain in the ass to get because you need to do a Nightfall Strike, get a gold medal achieved, and do it within the time limit as well. And some Nightfall Strikes are really difficult to do, others not so much. So it might be a pain in the ass for people to get. And of course it's a random chance as well because it's from the Sunrise bounty. So I would usually say Icebreaker would be very beneficial when the Juggler modifier is on. I say that because at the night of this recording on the 28th of March 2019 I actually finished the final set of the Skolas's Revenge boss fight rotations, and probably the fastest completion I've ever done. Deathless as well, and it was a little bit bugged actually. I think I was getting away with stuff I wasn't supposed to, but that was just to showcase how useless primary ammo is compared to like Icebreaker. That's a one shot on pretty much enemies that are phalanxes or legionaries. But anyway, so yeah, I think I'm done with all the Prison of Elders stuff at this moment in time, and one of the modifiers which was on in the Skolas's Revenge arena was Juggler, so that's why having something like Icebreaker is very beneficial. Now I do try and destroy the mines, but in this first round there's really no purpose to destroying the mines since there's no critical objective to any capacity, so there's no need to destroy the mines of it unless it really, you know, screws you over, but it probably won't. So you can get away with what I'm doing, which is just triggering the mines and running away. It's just in case you need an escape route, you don't want to be like slowed down when trying to run away. So that's what I was trying to do. Trying to no scope with the Icebreaker is all well and good. Well, if you can actually do it, then that would actually be pretty decent. So nothing much to the strategy. I do try and run around the arena to make it a bit interesting gameplay wise, rather than, you know, do what some people might do and just camp in one spot. I would say the camping comes around when there's bosses, because they're just bullet sponges essentially, so it's not like you will kill them in a timely fashion. But mostly for these kind of waves I do try to, you know, run around the arena and be a bit interesting with the gameplay. And sometimes I might mix it up a bit as well and use weapons I might not normally use, but I'll grenade that door up since there's the scions that come out there, and the grenade does seem to be killing them, which is great. And I'll try and go for a tactical punch, which creates a sunspot that damages enemies around it. No scope with the Icebreaker, because I think what happens is, at least if you have an ability that does damage over time, then it actually gives you a little marker on the screen, and sniper rifles don't have aim reticules. So as you can see, there's the crosshair in the middle, so essentially that gives you an opportunity to no-scope an enemy because you see that cursor there, which otherwise isn't there, so kind of helps. It reminds me of the old using a piece of tape or something when trying to do Halo Lasso, because I have been stupid enough to try and do Halo 1, Halo 2 and Halo 3 solo Lasso by, you know, completely. And I keep getting notifications that, oh yeah, you got 75% of Lasso Master on the Master Chief Collection, and it's like, I'm probably never going to do Halo 3 ODST or Halo 4 or Halo Reach, since at this moment in time, Halo Reach is apparently going to be on PC as well as like Xbox One in, you know, 4K quality and all that, which I'm actually pretty interested in. I'll play it if I have the opportunity to do so, definitely, and hopefully live stream it as well. But that was the first round, and that was pretty easy, if I say so myself. Of course, the second round is Fallen in nature, since this is a Fallen boss arena. We got Lightswitch this time, which means enemies deal more melee damage against you, so don't get punched by the enemies. So, yeah, I kind of forgot the tangent I was going on just a moment ago in the previous round. But, yeah, it's like, I think I was talking about how you can no-scope the enemies with Icebreaker, and you probably could get away with it if you know, leave a little bit of tape on your screen or something, just to, you know, mark where the sniper reticule actually is. But then you have to deal with like the recoil and all that as well, which is bad. And look at this lovely graphics bug. So Destiny Prison of Elders has been out for like 4 years now or something, and they still haven't fixed that. There's like this bad bug where the bit of the level geometry just glitches to infinity. And I believe it's on the PS4 version as well, because I asked my brother if, because we was doing Prison of Elders, and I said that to him, like, oh, look at this. And we're pretty sure that it, you know, that's fundamentally something wrong with the level, not the game that we have or anything. Plus the game's like online exclusive anyway, so but yeah, it basically means that Bungie hasn't fixed it. Good job, Bungie. So nothing much to this strategy this time, other than don't get punched by the enemies because they will do massive damage, and that's pretty much all I have to say. I generally don't like the Fallen arenas, to be honest, mostly because the enemies do seem to be far more powerful than enemies in other arenas. And if there's the dismantle mines objective, which there will be later on, then it can actually screw you over quite drastically, mostly because you need to do those critical objectives to survive, and if the mines are just too far away and the timing of them is wrong, you will die. There's nothing you can do about it. But thankfully the first critical objective we have to do is to destroy mines. Now, destroy mines, they don't seem to be in the same positions. They do have more variability in the position where they actually spawn. But I find it's actually far better to actually destroy them rather than to dismantle them. Mostly because dismantling them just takes time, and in an arena like this where it's too spacious, then you might not be able to make the connection in time. So I try to fire away, and it seems as if Vision of Confluence is actually pretty good, and I needed to reload there, and that could have screwed me over, and now I'm getting hit by a captain, and this ain't very good. But thankfully, for some reason, Vision of Confluence does seem to do a fair bit of damage against the mines, so I don't know if there's a bit of code that confuses the mines with the oracles from Vaulted Glass and does more damage against them, but it'll be interesting if that's the case. But either way, it doesn't really matter, because I was only able to beat Vaulted Glass one time, and the only reason why that was possible is because I did a live stream where I pretty much opened up my fire team for people to help out, and we even had to rely on people, like, not even from the stream, to help out at some points. And that's the only time I've ever done, Vaulted Glass ever, and that's probably a raid I'd really enjoy playing if I had the opportunity to play it with people. But no, I don't have that luxury, thankfully. or unluckily, whatever the case is. And Destiny's pretty dead at this point anyway, because Destiny 2's out, and quite frankly there's far better games out there than Destiny to be playing. Which begs the question, why am I even covering this to begin with? And for those watching this far ahead, then I guess the reason why I'm actually covering this stuff right now is because I'm at university, in my accommodation right now, using my Blue Snowball mic for the commentary, which is different from the past couple of videos I've actually, done, where I've used my old webcam microphone, which is still okay, but I like the Blue Snowball better just because that's, a very, very good microphone. But yeah, today on the 28th of March 2019 is actually the last day of the, second semester for me. So essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to have a lot of time in April off, and I nearly got fucking molested right there, dude. That's not very nice. So that's the thing, that's Lightswitch for you right there. The enemies do far more melee damage against you, and as you can see my health's still shit because my recovery on my character is so bad. But yeah, as I was saying, it's the last day, but not really the last day, it's the one before the last day, but I'll be going home for essentially Easter at this point in time. And so basically I wanted to still be able to put videos on this channel while I'm, hard at work doing stuff. And part of me thought, well, I've been wanting to do Prison of Elders for some time. Like, do I revive the Prison of Elders soloed stuff? And so I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. Let's actually do Prison of Elders soloed again. And that's what's happened. And so, rather than do the gameplay and the commentary all in one, I decided what I'll do is actually play the game and enjoy it first without the need to commentate over it. And then at some point in time in the future, I actually do perform the commentary over the gameplay, which is what's happening here, because I feel like I give more rounded, non-salty commentary over the gameplay, which is probably for the best, rather than smashing game cases and controllers and all that, and you don't even get to see it. So yeah, I feel it's better. My content's better when I'm, a well-rounded person rather than someone who's just being angry because it's not going their way. And especially round 4 and 5 in this arena is where that would definitely be predominant. So we have another modifier called Airborne on this time. It means basically you deal more damage to enemies when you're in the air. Now I'm pretty sure there's a Titan exotic helmet where if you basically aim down the sights while in the air, then it basically makes you float for a short period of time. So that's me trying to jump and no-scope a servitor with the icebreaker and failing miserably at it, but I guess the idea was to show that you can actually, do it somewhat because you do more damage. And there's just an explode shank right there trying to fuck me up, and just a bunch of vandals trying to sort me up. But the key is, if you jump just before they're going to get hit, then, because you're in the air, the grenade does more damage to them. So, bit of a strategy right there. And of course, trying to jump and, kill a captain and all that. So, that's kind of the strategy here, is try and jump around. And if you can match up the elemental damage type, so if you have arc damage for instance, then that would probably be a bit better. And I'll try and jump and all that before the hammer hits, so the hammer itself gets extra damage to kill the enemies. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do there. And there's another exploder shank and I'm trying to run away. I'm trying to kill these vandals that are being a pain in the ass. And the exploder shank blew up. It never got me. And I got some heavy ammo, which was well needed actually. Since if we're up in the air, then we want our heavy weapons to be excellent at what they do, which is to take out a large group of enemies relatively easily. Just like that, for instance, like I did there, wave 1. So now we have no critical objective. Sometimes that happens, sometimes you don't actually have any critical objectives to do. Sometimes there's these camo vandals as well, but yeah, just if you can jump in the air, then you can take them out really easily, so you know, nothing to worry about in that regard. And there's another exploder shank, so I'm trying to run away and nearly die there because they do way too much damage against you, I think. So yeah, I just gotta keep going. I'm trying to run away as best as I can. And so another super is in order. First couple hammers were pretty crap, to be honest, so I try and jump around and get the high servitors because they are really a pain in the ass. So there I am getting completely destroyed by enemies in the ass because the recovery on my character is ridiculously bad. So you could always change some of the settings up so you basically don't have as low recovery as I do. I'm fairly sure the only reason why my stats are the way they are is because I can essentially run through the first phase of Crota's End relatively easily, because that requires you to have pretty high agility just to be able to outrun the dozens of thrall that will be on your ass the entire time. But yeah, so that's why, and it's like it's best to keep it that way and adapt your strategy to those kind of play styles than to constantly keep changing your loadout every single time you're going to do something. So you do a different loadout for a different thing. But here I am trying to jump shot a servitor, and there's like 5 or 6 bullets right there, and I jumped and hit the servitor, and the game's like trying to say I never actually did it, even though I did. So you can't say I'm missing because my aim reticle was right on the guy the entire time, yet every single attempt was a miss according to the game. A Scorch Cannon would have been good there, but I got heavy ammo instead, and I've already got max rockets for the Hazen Vengeance, which is a pretty decent you know, heavy rocket launcher. Again, from the Vault of Glass, it was one of the, you know, drops that I got, which I'm kind of happy with, to be honest, but it's not like I'm going to be doing Vault of Glass ever again anytime soon, especially if no one's playing the game. But again, similar concept as I was doing before, trying to jump in the air to get the enemy kills. There does seem to be a large number of major enemies at this point in time, so at this point I'm trying to use this valuable Hazen Vengeance ammo to get kills on the enemies. And I think I'm trying to do jump shots against a you know, major captain there, and I see there's more of them, so I think, you know what, hey, you're supposed to be reloading the rocket launcher, you dumbass, come on, let's try and screw them up, get a lot of damage dealt against them. There's more of them, so another rocket. Now I've got a super, so in case, you know, there's more of them, they're going to be a pain in the ass, I can just pull it out and, you know, do a lot of damage. And it's like it's like, oh shit, there's a lot of enemies, try and get a punch to create a sunspot to damage enemies over time. I don't think that necessarily worked the way I wanted it to, but I think there should only be like a couple of enemies left at this point, and then we're done with this round. And then we get onto some of the more asinine rounds to do in this entire arena. And yeah, I might have said it earlier, but this was one of the worst arenas I had to do in the entire Prison of Elders soloed videos that I've been doing. Even Skolas's Revenge was better than this arena at times. And I saw some heavy ammo back here, that's why I was heading down this way. But now we get to move on to the shit. And this round coming up is basically critical objective is the dismantle mines. And that's bad, okay? Because yeah, as again, it's another fallen round. Spoilers, I know, but it's a fallen round. You have to dismantle mines, and if you're not fast on your feet, or if you have bad luck, then you're not going to be able to defuse the mines in time, and that is very, very problematic. So as you'll see, little jump cut there because I died. So I think I do point out my loadout at this point. I basically changed to the Red Death and the Light of the Abyss because exposure's on, and so Light of the Abyss does arc damage. Arc damage is good against the Fallen because you got captains with arc shields, so that's why. And you have Red Death because you want to get your health back per kill, because you're not going to get your shields recharging under conventional circumstances. So again, I try and run around and just to basically get rid of all these slowing mines while I can. Okay, because that's kind of important to the strategy. You want to be able to be moving around the arena without being slowed down by anything. So by taking out as many of the mines as you can, you free up, you know, you free up more routes than you probably would like to admit to. So as you see, when we get a kill, our shields come back to some capacity. As I say, we've got Light of the Abyss there because it does arc damage. It takes the shields down of the captains relatively easily. And now I am trying to, you know, do 2 captains at once, and it's like, that's not going to work, dude. Get the hell away from there and try and get some kills to get your shields back, which is one of the good things about Red Death, to be honest. So you have to have it fully upgraded as well. I know I haven't mentioned that yet, but you know, if you do run this with Red Death, you need that to be fully upgraded for it to basically give health back on a kill. And if you don't have Red Death, then it is definitely possible, but you do need to be playing this far more cautiously than I am right now. I don't know if I necessarily beat this arena with the Red Death when I did it initially, or if I used something else instead. So that's why I link to my old captures when I did Prison of Elders soloed in like 2016, so you can see from a worse Destiny player's experience, which was just me back in the day, try and actually do this. So obviously, as I said earlier, got the critical objective is to dismantle mines. I try and stay in the middle because you want to be able to get to the far left or the far right relatively quickly. And then of course this one's the one in the middle, so I think this mine is the best case scenario, since that's pretty much the closest mine to you. And then it's either going to be off to the far left or far right. So what I'll try and do is, well, that servitor spawned right inside me for a moment, so I'll try and drop down. It's either going to be to the left or the right, so it's off to my left at this point, which is what I would usually refer to as the right. And you want to get there quickly because you don't want to leave the mine until too late and then the final mine spawns in. But once you know that mine's dismantled, just head to the other one immediately, because as I might have said earlier as well, the dismantle mines are always in the same places. So whereas the destroy mines, they can be in different places sometimes, while they might be in specific locations, the dismantle mines are always in the same locations. So once you played it a few times, you know the pattern. So all you got to do is just revise the pattern, and then, you know, happy days. And then hopefully you should be able to get from, you know, each of the mines in a quick amount of time. Now I do have a speed boost right now. That might help because, you know, that could allow you to go faster, and I believe in this case it's because you have to get like soul or multi-kills or something, or ability multi-kills, and that basically allows you to get extra speed, and you should be able to, you know, maneuver around a bit faster, and that helps from getting to point A to point B if you need it to. But it shouldn't have to come to that though. You know, I think if you get there fast enough to begin with, you might just be able to pull it off, you know, get from mines to, you know, basically do it in a decent amount of time. So just take out these major enemies and that's it. well, not yet. There's still one more wave to go. But this is probably the worst wave to try and do. So again, we've got another dismantle mines. So I'll try and stay in the middle of the two. And then you've got to just get to one when it appears. So it's off to my left now. And this is the one that I would call the left. So just rush over. Don't care about the enemies. I think that was a couple of fatal mistakes in the past, was trying to take out the enemies on the way there. Don't even bother with them. I do pull out a strategic super to try and kill some of them, but don't bother with them because the mines are the important objective here. So as you see, it's not the best because the second mine's already spawned in. And my rule of thumb is that if you're hitting the mine with about 10 seconds left to go, then you're probably not going to be able to do the arena, because you probably need that 10 seconds to dismantle the mines. But at this point it's like, yeah, I know where the final mine's going to spawn in. It's right in front of me, so all I need to do is get there, don't die, and then essentially this entire round is ours for the taking, because we've got through the most ridiculous, difficult part of the arena. So now try and get into a more advantageous position. All the enemies are trying to get me where the mine was, so you don't want to be just like camping around because they will swarm you. So you gotta try and take him out, and this captain's being a pain in the ass because he's a major, and major enemies suck ass. It just goes to show they can't really kill you with legitimate you know, skill or whatever, but they have to throw a bunch of high powered over leveled enemies at you to kill you, and that's the only way they can actually kill you. So at this point I wanted to fire a rocket. That was a good chance to do so. I did pull one off eventually, and there's only this one captain left, and it's just a matter of taking his ass out, and then happy days, we've won the arena. So with that being done, we can basically retreat to the airlock at this point. I was just checking for any other engrams or loot drops just in case. And as you see, it took me about 17 minutes to get through that arena, or that round rather, sorry. Just because of the deaths and because of the mines basically spawned in too fast. And if that happens, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So now we're coming up to the Kaliks boss fight. This is going to be rather lengthy, to be honest, but as you see, at this point I've changed my loadout back to Vision of Confluence and Icebreaker. Yeah, and I disconnected my controller in a fit of rage trying to do this, because this was really frustrating me. I died like 7 times or something trying to do this. You'll see at the end the stats. But you know, this is not a difficult arena. You just need to have the right thing at the right time in order to do it. So as we'll see, I'll head off to the left. I almost have a super at this point. So the quirk behind this arena is that there's these, you know, major dregs called Archon Servants, and basically they are a pain in the ass. But if you don't kill all of them fast enough, then what that Kaliks there tries to do is actually devour the Archon Servants for health and becoming stronger in the process. So the idea is you want to take them out so then Kaliks doesn't get his health back and doesn't get stronger. But sometimes with my strategy, like you see here, you can't always pull that off. So some of the Archon Servants will be consumed to allow Kaliks' health to come back. So you'll notice it as well. And I think one thing to point out is that a critical hit with the Icebreaker is enough to cause some staggering. But I think we'll see later that even a critical hit with the Icebreaker doesn't cause further staggering. So at this point it's like, yep, there's more of these enemies, so super them up. Preferably the year 3 super, because that does, you know, far more damage, and it's, you know, lasting, you know, way more than the year 1 supers were. So definitely don't use Defender unless you have the Helm of Saint 14, which blinds the enemies, which would probably be fucking awesome if you had that. Otherwise, don't even consider using it. And there's me trying to no-scope using the Icebreaker again. I saw a heavy ammo drop there, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll take that. And you want to kill some of the enemies as well before dealing with Kaliks, because you do want that super to be available when the next set of reinforcements come in. It's imperative to have that super, I would say. You could probably get away with heavy ammo as well, but it shouldn't have to come to that. And as you see, because Kaliks probably consumed the dregs, the Archon servants, he has a lot of his health back. But I try and follow my advice from previous arenas, which is to just camp back and, you know, hit him in the critical hit spot with the endless stagger. As you see, I keep an eye on my minimap as well, because you do see the enemy spawn in. I'll try and go for a sunspot, but it doesn't quite work, so I still super them up. One thing that I don't do here is use the you get an overshield when you're in a sunspot perk for the Titan with Sunbreakers. I would say that's probably very helpful actually, because then you're not gonna die like I could have done right there. So if I was to change my strategy a little bit, I would probably make it so I had an overshield when I was in a sunspot, for instance. And there's me trying to take out one of the Archon servants, but there's a Vandal on my ass the entire time, causing my accuracy to be awful. There's another heavy ammo synth right there, but I don't want to be, you know, using one ammo and then, you know, picking it up. So I decided to use 2 ammo and pick it up, because then I still get 8 rockets, which is thanks to the armamentarium that is, and having extra heavy ammo, as using extra special ammo with the Icebreaker does not allow the Icebreaker to get more ammo. So it's more like a standardized perk for me at this point. It's to just, you know, run stuff with the build that I have right now. So again, there's not much to the strategy. You just want to keep an eye out for those Archon servants, try and kill them, use your abilities if you can, like me using a sunspot right there. But if push comes to shove, go ahead straight, use a super, kill as many of them as you can, because they are bastards. And if you leave any alive, then if it's easy to kill them, then do it, because you might actually get a hell of a lot of super energy back, which is vital for the next wave of reinforcements. So there's more of them. As you see, they do you know, sort of despawn in Arc, and Kaliks, you know, basically consumes the health they have to get more health back, and that's not good. So I think there's another quirk in this arena which should be coming up sometime soon, but yeah, still trying to pull off that stagger with the Icebreaker at this point. I think I was using Vision of Confluence in full auto mode, since we're just, you know, firing on a critical hit spot and there's not much variation with the accuracy. This is the secondary quirk of this arena. We have to intercept an important target. This is somewhat similar to what happens in Skolas's Revenge. Basically, in Skolas's Revenge, in the final boss fight, there's a critical objective in the final boss fight on like 2 occasions, and it's somewhat, you know, reminiscent of this, where we have, you know, a critical objective in the middle of a you know, a boss fight. And here it's like, oh shit, no, I'm not dying again, fuck this, no, you're not killing me, try and run away, run into the door, run into the airlock if you have to, just to survive, because those Archon servants are fucking bastards. And as you'll see, Kaliks has a lot of health back, because of all those Archon servants I didn't kill got consumed by Kaliks to get his health back. So that's not good. That was pretty shit, to be honest. So I think this is the point where you notice that, you know, even the Icebreaker precision hits don't cause the stagger at this point, because, you know, he just consumed so much that he's got a lot of his health back, and that strategy ain't really going to work anymore. So we should be noticing that right now. If you see, that was a critical hit and he's not even like staggering anymore, so Makes it a tad bit more difficult, though I'm not quite sure if the stagger would just go away anyway because of the health that would be depleted from Kaliks here. But camp around in the starting area, it doesn't really hit you that often, to be honest. That's why I camp here and just keep hitting him in his critical hit spot until his health reduces to the point where the next set of reinforcements comes in. We have our heavy ammo, we have our grenades and melee ability, a full super, which I would say is, you know, compulsory to do this. And just keep an eye out for those Archon servants periodically, which is what I'm doing. Looks about he's at 25% health now, so there should be another set of reinforcements, which there are. Trying to weaken this guy down to go ahead and use Sunspot to damage the enemies, and then super them up to take him out. So then Kaliks doesn't get a lot of his health back. There's those, you know, vandals that rush your ass, but take him out and you should be good. I'll try and punch this guy and fail, but he's dead now. And there's a captain there. And I need to reload the Haze and Vengeance, and I'm sure there's a couple of Archon servants down there, but I got that guy. There's probably like one other guy left, but no, I actually got him. You saw that. I got him right through that little edge there, that little gap. So I think that means that Kaliks Reborn, he basically gorges on the ether one time, I think, and that's because I got everybody else. And at this point, you're in like the home stretch basically. So I'm like, okay, that's it, you bastard. You're dead now. I got you. You caused me so much grief. How about I soup you up and take you out, you faggot? And there you go, you win. Nice and easy. And because that caused me such grief, I'll try and pull off a little teabag there. I know, very, very mature, of course. So I'll see one of those triangular prisms there, so I'll try and get it. 32 minutes it took me to do that. 32 minutes, 35 seconds with 5 deaths trying to get through that boss fight. That's honestly telltale evidence that this was the worst arena for me to try and do in this whole set of Prison of Elders videos. But I got there in the end, ladies and gentlemen, and now we are dealing with the outro where I show you what I get for beating this arena. And so, as is customary, I show you where the dead ghost is at every single time you ever do Prison of Elders, and the rewards that I get for beating it. So at this point it's like, fuck yeah, I fucking did it. Hell yeah. Now we can basically get the arena done and dusted with. So first off, dead ghost. Dead ghost is right off this ledge right here. And I kind of missed it, but got it eventually. It does its dead ghost thing. It's always there, but the first time you get it, you get a Grimoire card for it. And then opening the chests, we get our Etheric Light and Weapon Core. And I actually ended up getting the Radiant Dance Machine's exotic legs for the Hunter, Mark of a Kelslayer, and Chain of Orbix Fell. Now, I was a little bit disappointed with the Radiant Dance Machines since I really don't need them. But still happy nonetheless that I got, you know, an exotic drop doing these Prison of Elders videos, though. I was hoping for something more like the Pocket Infinity exotic, since that's the only one of the only year 1 exotics I need, and the only way to get it is by doing stuff like Prison of Elders or Vault of Glass year 1, possibly Quota's End year 1, or Xur basically. Those are the only way you can get some of the Legacy year 1 exotic drops. So with all that being said and done, my voice is fucking up right now, but I'll just recap what I got again. There's a Chain of Orbix Fell, Radiant Dance Machines, Mark of the Kelslayer. We got our Weapon Core, which I'm dismantling right now, an Etheric Light, and there's probably going to be one thing at the Postmaster, which is a chest that I couldn't get, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.